How's it going, guys? My name is Ishan, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the Bill Gates and Peter Thiel backed AI stock that is set to explode and has tremendous potential. In fact, I would say it's even possible that Cathy Wood's ARK buys this stock. We're going to be talking about what the company does, their financials, along with an in-depth technical analysis to identify the best points to enter the stock. But along with all of that, we're also going to be talking about the one big risk I see with the company that every YouTuber is failing to mention, because I'm not just going to pump the stock like everyone else. So if you appreciate these short and value-packed videos, make sure to drop a quick sub, and let's clock in. So the AI company we're talking about is AbCellera Biologics. They're an AI company in the medical field making some huge strides. They recently went public and raised $555 million. The stock actually ended up opening at $60 a share, triple the IPO price, and now that it's cooled off and has dropped back to $40, it may be a great time to pick up some shares before the stock explodes even higher. So what the company does is they have a full stack AI antibody discovery platform. To give you a quick overview, basically whenever our bodies have any viruses and antigens that cause harm to the body, we have something called B cells, which are a type of white blood cell, and these B cells produce antibodies that go and latch onto the virus. They basically are tasked with finding an enemy and marking it for destruction. So you get how important they are to drug makers who use them to create drugs that fight against such viruses, and so here's where AbCellera comes in. Now let's talk about what the company actually does now that you get an understanding why the industry is so important. Essentially, their platform is an operating system designed to increase the speed of clinical development for their partners. Their full-stack AI-powered technology searches, decodes, and analyzes antibody responses with the goal of helping their partners engineer new antibody drug candidates. Basically, their partners can use their platform to identify what antibodies they should use in their drug, and allows them to figure out how certain antibodies will react. So it's super powerful. This takes out a lot of R&D companies had to do themselves out of the equation. Instead of having to test out and figure out the right antibodies to use, they can now use AbCellera to figure out faster which antibodies would work the best in their drugs. And what sets them apart is that unlike many other AI-based drug discovery approaches, their platform Cellium is continually improved with real-world data. The output of their processes aren't predictions, but instead they actually discover real molecules that have been optimized by nature. Now the revenue for AbCellera is huge. According to their S1 filing, in 2019, antibody-based therapeutics accounted for over $140 billion in sales and represented 5 out of the top 10 best-selling therapeutics worldwide. In 2019, antibodies represented 70% of sales of all biologics, and 36 antibody therapeutics reached a blockbuster status with sales higher than $1 billion. Along with that, the antibody-based therapeutics market is expected to reach approximately $260 billion in size by 2025. That is insane. So while they're not actually creating the drug, they're still helping these companies make huge amounts of money. Just taking a look at their clientele, it's literally made up of some of the biggest big pharma names in the world, like Gilead, Merck, Pfizer, Eli Lilly, and so many more. In fact, just to show the power of their technology, they actually worked with Eli Lilly to create a neutralizing antibody drug for the Rona. AbCellera's platform allowed them to find the right antibodies for the drug, and just in December, the US government purchased 650,000 additional doses of that very drug for $812 million. And according to their S1 filing, they will receive payments and royalties from that drug. So this is some next level AI tech like Palantir. The opportunity, as we mentioned, is huge. Most of the top drugs are antibody based therapeutics, and as the continuous push for medical advances increases, especially after the whole pandemic, the need for companies like AbCellera who make it a lot easier to create these cures will only increase. And so I believe that long term, this company's stock has a lot of room to run as they continue working with these enormous companies companies to discover the medications of the future. Their revenues have been growing at a 109% compound annual growth rate since 2014, and in their most recent quarter, they did about $9 million in revenue and about $40 million for the entire year of 2020. They've also been generating positive operating cash flows, which isn't the same thing as free cash flows, but it still shows that the money they generate from their business is more than enough to grow it and run operations. So that's a good sign and something you have to like. Now let's talk about the big risk that no one is talking about, which is actually huge. And that risk is Google, Microsoft, and Amazon. These companies are huge and massive AI companies going into every field, even healthcare. Google's DeepMind has already been making massive strides in helping companies discover so many new things, along with Microsoft's AI as well. So I don't see anything stopping from them doing what AbCellera is doing, and even better. Their AI systems have collected so much data and have been refined so much over the years. They ought to have more manpower, money, and overall power to create something better than what AbCellera offers. So if they decide to enter the space and do something similar, then I don't believe AbCellera could become the leaders in the industry, especially with the competition they already face. So this is the one huge risk I see. However, I still really believe this is a company that Ark and Cathy would invest in now that the stock is pulled back quite a bit. She's always looking for the next generation companies changing the game, especially in healthcare, with her genomics ETF actually being her best performing fund. AbCellera has real working technology and partnerships and is changing the game in the antibody discovery for therapeutics, so I think this is the perfect stock for her. And while it's all speculation and just my personal guess that she eventually buys, I do think it's very likely, and as we can see, anything she buys causes the Robinhood traders to pump the stock to the moon. At this point, Cathy Wood could buy literal dirt and people would rush in. As for a quick technical analysis, we're forming lower lows and lower highs, but it seems like we've bottomed at the $38 level and are beginning to reverse. I'd still want to wait for confirmation and see if the uptrend resumes before buying, and ideally I would want to buy in the low 30s where I think it's more fairly valued than right now, and then ride the stock up from there. But as we can see, it looks like we've bottomed, and this stock could easily head to $44 a share on a move higher, where it turns that previous support in that area into resistance. At this point, I think it's all about just waiting to see if the uptrend resumes or if we break through that $38 level and head even lower. So guys, that's the video. Make sure you like, subscribe, and check out genztraders.com, link down below if you want to support the channel. And with that being said, also let me know down below what you guys think about AbCellera. Do you plan to buy? Do all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy, clocking out for now. Peace.